Welcome back to By the Wayside. On this episode, I'm going to be speaking with Tina Hurley from Caring Works for Kids. We're going to have an Omar Recommends. We're going to have lots of fun. I realized I started this whole episode, I'm not even wearing a different shirt. Stick around, don't go anywhere. Can we start the show? Okay, I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Hi, I'm Jordan Middlebrook, the host of By the Wayside, the show that you're watching. I said it at the top of the show. There was a little credits thing that happened. Thanks, Stephen Parker, for that. Where was I going with this? Yes, I started the show. I don't remember if I've worn this before. like this, not overshirt, this flower shirt. If you know, I'm a flower shirt guy. I like loud flower shirts, so I can't remember if I've worn this or not. So we're just gonna go with the flow. Sometimes I remember things, sometimes I double check things. I realized I put my cue card over there. You know what? Let's do this. I'm looking for a sponsor. I'm looking for someone to sponsor me with flower shirts. If you want to sponsor me with flower shirts, reach out. Here's all the socials. Follow the show on any of these socials. Reach out through distinguished message, and we'll get back to you. Let's arrange something, right? Let's do that. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about some really fun things, so don't go anywhere. But I wanted to take a few seconds to talk about my favorite puppets. I know that people are like, who starts a show talking about their favorite puppets? Trust me, if you stick around, it will make sense. My favorite puppets, of course, Kermit the Frog. Hi-ho, I'm Kermit the Frog here. One of my favorite puppets, of course. Like, there's so many puppets in the world. Ernie and Bert, Grover, Elmo. Does Big Bird count as a puppet? That's a really great question because it's a person in a suit. Oh, man. Is Big Bird a puppet? Wow, that's like mind-blowing. Sometimes when things like that happen, now I can't stop thinking about whether or not Big Bird is a puppet. Is Big Bird a puppet? Who knows? I think when it comes down to it, and you look at all of these things, when someone says to you, who's your favorite puppet? Who's your favorite puppet? Or Muppet, I guess, if you want to get fancy about it. It's always one of the Muppets. It's, I think the first thing that pops into your mind would be Kermit the Frog. I don't think I'm wrong there. If you were to, in my mind's eye, I think about some of the most recognizable pop culture icons. Superman, Mickey Mouse. I believe Kermit the Frog is in there. Mr. T, Hulk Hogan, Spider-Man. These massive pop culture icons that just exist in the zeitgeist. It's like I don't practice these things. It's like I don't write them down. Technically, I did not write this one down. Don't ask why I'm winging it. I don't work without practicing or knowing how things work. I just kind of took a shot at this opening. Stick around. I have lots of fun things happening in this. Of course, like I had said, we're going to be talking with some people. We're going to have an Omar Recommends. We're going to have lots of fun here on By the Wayside at Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. What's that? Don't go anywhere? Don't go anywhere. How did that joke work? I don't know. Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. Of course, I am your host, Jordan Middlebrook, and with me today, you ready for this? Mm-hmm. From Caring Works for Kids, Tina Woodward Hurley. Thank you very much for taking the time and speaking with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. Now, as time progresses, Tina Woodward and myself, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things growing up, of course, was The Muppet Show.
Oh, yeah.
And I started the show talking about puppets. And I said to everybody, buckle up because you're going to want to stick around and know why. This is the reason why. So, Tina, what is Caring Works for Kids?
So, short version.
Go nuts.
Would be, it's been a few things.
Okay.
But I've had to kind of roll with the punches first from COVID.
COVID? What's that? No, I'm just kidding.
So, It essentially is a way that we can help children, for the most part, with their mental health. So positive mental health outreach. And that has sort of, again, changed sort of the way that we've presented that. So originally it was supposed to be programs in the community.
Okay.
And that got shut down because of COVID.
Wait a second. What? No.
So short version would be, it is a school.
Oh, okay.
It's a website, like a wellness website, and it is shows.
Yeah.
So broadcasting.
Oh, okay.
But the main idea is reaching kids as far as we can, whether it's in Georgina locally or broadcasting it out to kids that we don't actually get to meet.
The internationalness of everything.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the internet, right? Is because while the show, like you're living in Georgina, but because the show is on YouTube, or sorry, like the website exists, and then through the website you can access the show that we're going to talk about. You can reach kids far and wide, which is the beauty of the internet. Not everything is just this weird contained sort of thing anymore. Speaking of shows, on the Caring Works for Kids website and the YouTube channel, there is a show called A Wonderful Place. Can you tell me about that?
Yes. Originally, I've always been a dancer, and I had a dance and theater school in Georgina for about 15 years. Okay. And then in 2019, I decided to close because I wanted to focus more on children's mental health.
Okay, yeah.
So from there, that's when I created children's mental health programs, and I was originally supposed to go in and teach them at schools.
Let me guess what stopped you.
Right when I was supposed to go in March of 2020.
That sounds about the right timing of a worldwide pandemic.
Yes. Remember, like, the toilet paper being hoarded off of shelves. That's what comes to my mind. So that everything sort of all fell apart.
Yeah.
So my son and I we were sitting around one day, and he said, why don't you take the ideas and write them into stories? It's like, everybody in theater and dance. So we kind of collected all these artists and musicians, and we made sets and puppets. I wrote scripts. And then the next thing we knew, we were doing a puppet show for YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was just to give back, right? Course, and then from there, also at the same time, I'm kind of a busy person. Yeah. I like being busy.
Of course.
It's healthy. I also went back to school simultaneously, and I became a recreation therapist.
This is like no stopping you. You're like a whirlwind of activity. When you say
I love
busy,
creating.
Right? The beauty of the show's mission statement is to introduce the audience, the people watching right now, to creative people. And when I came across a Wonderful Place online, I thought, this is perfect. It's someone who is taking the analytical mind and applying it creatively to something with a message.
Yeah.
And A Wonderful Place it's a children's puppet show. It dispels myths. It teaches kids good habits. It teaches them all sorts of different things, just like you would expect a puppet show to do, an online puppet show to do. So we're talking about the puppets and not people, but why puppets?
Going back to school actually helped me then in my writing and what children need and how to reach them. Psychologically, how do we do that? Doing that research.
Yeah.
And so the reason why puppets is because they are so relatable and approachable. It's different having a person talk to you, especially an adult, into a screen that children don't know, trying to relate to them.
Yeah, of course.
That's why a lot of characters that you see in children's programming are dressed like kids.
Say brightly. You can relate to me. I'm bright.
It makes you approachable to children, right?
Yeah,
but we take it on another level. It's not a person; it's a puppet. They're shorter. They're little kids. They're more their height. Yeah, they're relatable, and we can take stories and make them more believable with puppets than trying to act them out ourselves, right?
I could see that.
Like what
100%.
Kids are facing, whatever that might be.
There's a lot of you as the individual who is creating the stories, doing the stories. You're using your imagination, and the kids get to see these. They're not felt, but let's just say puppets again. They see the puppets, and they get to use their imagination. They get to see the backgrounds, and they go, oh yes, they're there, of course,
Mhm.
or they're talking with the pup, or the pup, they're talking with the pup. Maybe they're talking with the puppets, but the puppets are talking to them through the screen. And like, yeah, like I get 100% that this person is doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I never thought about the relatability of puppets. That's
It's
interesting.
huge. And you know, I if I'm working with kids and I'm using a puppet,
Yeah.
they'll look at the puppet when I'm talking,
Yeah,
and a lot of them will hug the puppet and hold on to the puppet.
that must be
It's
such a
and
feeling.
no, I'm not saying 3-year-olds. I'm saying 8, 9, 10.
Really?
Yeah. Because
Wow.
it's a different thing. It's not me.
That's interesting.
And they actually pick up on it like that. But yeah, it works.
The puppet is an extension of you, and
Yes.
the kids relate to this extension.
Yeah.
I don't know for all hands. So before, I'm gonna let me double check what I ask you next. Okay, I'll ask you that question after. But you have a bunch of puppets here.
I do. Yeah.
So the two main ones. I'm gonna grab the two main ones.
Sure.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Now,
You know who they are? Okay.
so were they? Oh my goodness.
It's okay.
I want to say
Do you want me to-
Maggie.
Yeah.
What's the
Starts with the letter A.
starts the letter Andrew?
There you go.
Yes,
Oh, Got it.
I got it. So these are the two main puppets from
A Wonderful
Life.
Place.
A Wonderful Place.
Place.
Sorry,
I think
keep
that's a
going.
movie.
It's so good. Oh my goodness, I'm
It's
so
okay.
sorry about that. But you had
Good.
mentioned that someone makes these puppets.
Yes.
Who makes the puppets?
So we have a seamstress that used to make all our costumes for our dance. She's a quiet lady who lives in Willow Beach. Like she probably doesn't want me to say her name.
Let's not say her name. Then.
But so we all work together. We design the puppets, and then she makes the base, and then myself and my children will make things like the eyes,
Yeah.
the hair. So some of the facial stuff in the hair, but otherwise she makes the puppet and all the little clothes. They're so cute.
You had mentioned your children. This isn't just a you thing. This is a family affair.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How are your children involved in this?
Well, they're all really creative, and it's fun for them. So they all wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
My littlest is 9, so she sings our theme song for A Wonderful Place.
Oh yeah.
She does a couple of voices for characters that are not here.
Oh, okay, but there's so many more characters here.
Oh yeah, and there's tons more at home too.
Look at this is like they're
This
so
is
cool.
Aaron and Sean.
And Sean, okay, and then there is
That's Sam.
Sam.
Yeah.
Short for
Just Sam. Well, I guess you could say Samantha. We try to choose names that are more
neutral.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
So this girl. Sorry, I dropped your.
That's
Sam.
okay. That's okay.
I'm
That's
sorry.
Jessie.
This is Jessie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like this one. Now
Actually, Jessie has some mouth issues right now. She's got to go to the doctor.
she's also missing teeth.
None of them have teeth, except Maggie did a dental video, and we put teeth in her, and she looks hilarious. I look back in it, and I'm like, yeah, we shouldn't have done that.
It's a show for children. It's not a horror
Yeah,
show.
that's true. But they pick up on everything. They do. What's that spot? What's that spot there?
Kids, eh?
But yeah, and my son, he's 19. He does all the male voices.
Yeah.
He does all of our music.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's a
interesting.
musician.
I like that. I like that a whole family can get involved in something.
Sometimes it's tricky because when you're shooting together behind a puppet set, back in the old days, you can get on each other's nerves. So it's, but it's fun too. It's built so many incredible memories because I'm Maggie, he's Andrew. We've done a lot of singing together.
Oh, that's nice.
And singing and writing songs with my kid. That's something that we as mom and son will just remember forever outside of the show, right? And then my oldest daughter, who's 26, she has played some of the characters and she does a lot of the digital art for us.
That's really cool. My daughter refuses to be on this show, so stick around. We got lots more with Tina Woodward right after this.
This is By the Wayside, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. I'm with Tina Woodward, and we are talking about the amazing show, A Wonderful Place. Hold on, I got to double check because I said a wonderful life earlier, and I feel like a dum-dum.
No.
A Wonderful Place. We just spent the first part of your interview talking about the show. How would you describe your show in 3 words? I really put you on the spot, even though I told you the question before. 3 words, you get 3 words.
Okay.
We can come back to it.
I would say, well, can they be, it doesn't have to be, it's not a sentence, it's just 3 words. So I
Only
would say
3 words.
positivity,
Yes.
encouragement,
Oh, that's a good one.
and support.
Oh, that's
And
even
so this
better.
is all for children.
Yeah, that makes a
Right?
lot of sense because you are creating an environment for kids to identify,
Mhm.
for kids to feel safe.
Yeah.
And all those three
Yeah,
words, that makes
yeah,
perfect sense.
yeah.
Absolute sense.
And one thing that's very important to us for every show or episode or anything we're doing with shooting
yes.
is to make sure that the puppets are looking into the screen at the child and making sure we're saying something to them to remind them
Yeah.
that they matter,
Yes.
they're important in the world,
Yes.
they're valuable, all of those words, because we don't know how many children are actually hearing that.
That's
So if we get that chance, we are
Yeah.
going to do that, whether it's on a television screen, whether we're interacting with them live, like one-on-one,
Yeah.
person to person, always that message.
Wow.
Because they need to hear that.
You know, you had talked earlier in the segment about it's better to hear it. Maybe it's easier to hear it from someone you can relate to as opposed to a person flesh and bone who typically might be an adult.
Yeah.
I would take anything. If a puppet said anything to me, I think that those are the words that I'd want to hear
You'd
from
listen.
a puppet. I don't typically listen to anybody. My wife, who can attest to that, and Omar Sayer, the owner of Wayside Comics, who does his Omar Recommends here on every single episode, he can attest to as well as I don't listen to anybody.
But you'd listen to a puppet.
I would, if there were puppet versions of those two individuals, I would probably listen to them more. A Wonderful Place is your show with multiple characters that you've created with your family members and the individual that helps create the puppets. Outside of those puppets, do you have a favorite puppet that's not your creation?
Not my creation. Okay. So he's a newer version. We actually in the past 6 months created what we call the Teen Tween group.
Oh, okay.
They're actually specifically, we've really just used them for the website because we have some free activities you can do on there. And so being that I didn't create him, these characters are actually people I know. So my daughters are two of them. My son is one of them. And one person, so his name is Ryan, the name of the puppet. I didn't bring him today, but he would be my favorite because this was a friend of ours who passed.
Okay.
He was 19 and he passed from cancer. But he was my daughter's best friend, and he was a musical theater student of mine. So he was an actor. He loved the stage. So we created a puppet in his honor, who I have no control over. It's his personality. So what comes out when my son, presents him is he's doing what Ryan would do, cool. Ryan would say to the best of his ability.
That's really cool.
So he'd be my favorite who I didn't create him.
That's really interesting. I like the idea of someone's legacy living on after their death
in
a way that they would have liked and a way that maybe other people can relate to. It's kind of circling back to being a puppet.
Yeah.
Speaking of puppets, is Big Bird a puppet?
Puppet.
I know it's a tough question. It's something that
it is.
I'm struggling with.
No, it is a type of puppet because, from what I understand, the mechanisms of the puppet themselves, I don't know.
I don't know who. I was going to say who puppets.
I think would be somewhat controlled by other puppeteers because a lot of those puppets on Sesame Street, that's more than one person running that. Right? So it's a costume with puppetry pieces built in. Is it a puppet? No.
Oh, dang! That's
neither is Snuffleupagus. Would Jim Henson say that it was a puppet?
I don't know.
I am a huge fan of Fred Rogers, Jim Henson, Ernie Coombs, of course. I got to meet Ernie Coombs actually when I was little. Yeah.
Do you have any pictures of?
No, I had his signature, and who knows what I did with that. I was like 5,
things.
so.
Oh my goodness.
But they were an inspiration, right, for all of this.
Some people might think that the idea of creativity is you put up a camera, you talk to the camera, you go about your business. But there's not. Yeah. There's so much happening in the background in order for you to execute your ultimate vision. And I think sometimes that kind of gets lost in how people perceive what I was going to say a homemade show, but that's not the case, but an independent show, just like By the Wayside here and A Wonderful Place.
Yeah.
I think it's important that people know that there's just more than just a camera and a person. Yeah. There's like a team. You have a whole family of people working. You do a lot of the work yourself, which you've said multiple times over the course of this episode.
If you don't, I always approach things from a kid translation.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything nice to say,
Don't say it. That's it.
Right?
We could just end the show. I could just do a whole.
we could just go back. Yeah.
We just
No,
do
I
it
mean
there.
like a kindergarten routine. Or I don't know. There was like a poster write up or something made of that back in the day.
Yep.
If we use the rules from kindergarten,
Oh,
what a world this would be. So much nicer.
I agree. 100%.
So much easier to live in.
I'm still friends with one of my friends from kindergarten. Are you?
Yeah, a couple. I think I have to
You're
think
like,
about
no,
that.
I don't have any friends.
I know.
Hey, shout out to Benjamin Teasma, my one friend from kindergarten.
There you go.
Of all of the puppets on your show, A Wonderful Place, they have dispensed tips, all sorts of different tips for kids. They've talked about sleep time. They've talked about food time. You mentioned the dentist.
Mm-hmm.
Is there one tip that they've ever dispensed that is your favorite?
It's the message to children, but also to families, parents, to help with their children, is that that they matter.
Yeah.
You know, that they number one, what we're trying to do is help kids feel good about themselves. And how do we do that? There's a whole bunch of stuff to build self-esteem.
Yeah.
But number one is be kind, and also be kind to yourself. Right? Love yourself.
Yes.
Be unique. Celebrate who you are.
I love this.
Right? And if you're having trouble, you need to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Go to someone you trust. So there's a whole bunch of messages there. I can't narrow. If I were to narrow it down to one, it would be probably love yourself.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
But you can't stop there, because kids need to be taught that.
Yes.
It can't just stop at that one sentence, because we really need to nurture, well, how do I do that? What
Yeah.
does it mean to be kind?
Yes.
So that's why
There's so
we
many
create
brackets.
series
That's
and
crazy.
shows,
Yeah.
because it needs to be demonstrated in stories and songs and things like that. So
My answer was just going to be turn your phone off an hour before bedtime, but yours is well more
that's
thought out
one
than
of
mine.
them, for sure. That's the self-care and health.
During the course of this episode, Tina, you had mentioned Rogers TV, and I know that your show will be on Rogers TV starting in fall of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
You're actively looking for children to be involved. Can you walk me through that process real quick?
Sure. So it's a different show.
Yes.
It's our new show. It's called Extraordinary Kids in Georgina. And so what we're doing is we're having children come on the program, and the puppets are interviewing them. It's kind of like a talk show. And the children are kids who, and now in my opinion, every single child has something extraordinary to share.
Of course.
But to sort of put like a description on it, do they have a special talent?
Yes.
Maybe they faced some sort of, challenge in their life that they overcame.
Mm-hmm.
They've won an award. They're an activist somehow. So we are airing in the fall, but we are currently recruiting, and people can go on our website.
Yep.
And the information's there. If their child wanted to be a part of the show, they can
Awesome.
find it there.
Awesome. All that information, of course, will pop up on the screen to direct individuals to go and find out more about your show. What was the name of the show again?
That's Extraordinary Kids in Georgina.
Extraordinary Kids in Georgina. So if people
Yeah.
are interested, they could, of course, head to the website and find
Yeah.
out more about how they could be involved.
And the other thing that we're doing
Yes.
is I closed my school in 2019,
Yes.
but I'm reopening.
Dang.
It's now Caring Works for Kids. It's a school.
Awesome. And and children can come and express themselves creativity through the arts
Yeah,
and
I mean,
such
we're
there.
teaching, dance, theater, arts, and recreation therapy, so wellness.
Awesome. So all that information, of course, will
Yes.
be on the website. Awesome,
Yes,
Tina.
it's really exciting.
Thank you for coming in today, talking about your show, talking about your journey, of course, showcasing your puppets. Excuse me. I don't know. Is it rude to grab it by the head? I don't know.
No.
I don't know puppet.
No, he's okay. It's
pup etiquette.
Andrew, yeah,
Puppet etiquette. Pup etiquette.
puppet. I can't say that.
Pup
Puppet etiquette.
Pup etiquette.
Just go slow.
We just take a portmanteau and we just kind of.
Puppet.
This has been awesome, Tina.
Sure.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Why is Andrew up here?
I encourage everybody to head to the website and check you out. Watch the episodes that are really fun.
Thank you.
And it's something different out there that people in the community are presenting. You and your family are doing something amazing, and I love it.
Thank you very much.
Tina, thanks again. Don't go anywhere. We've got lots left in this episode, and see you later. This is great.
They can't wave. But...
Hey, bye now. I know this is a little unorthodox. Typically, I do the segment after the guest over at the table, but if there's one thing that I'm known for, it's being quite annoying. And I know that shop owner Omar Sayer is very busy today, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to bug him for his Omar recommends today. Let's go find him. Omar, I know that you're very busy today, but the people on the internet and Rogers TV, they need to know comic book recommendings. You got something to recommend?
Night Fever by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips.
Oh, that sounds good. Hey, Omar, while you're doing that, do you have another comic book to recommend?
Berserk by Kentaro Miura.
That sounds like a good one. I just want to make a TV show. Hey, Ryan, do you have a comic book to recommend?
Yeah, Electra Assassin by Bill Sienkiewicz.
That's a good one. Let's check that out. If there's one thing I'm known for, it's for how well I measure the distance between things. Hey, Omar, do you have another comic book to recommend?
What do we top of my head? Geez, you're pretty much Lone Wolf and Cub.
Ooh, that's a good one. Let's check that out.
Another recommend?
Yeah.
What's another great? It's funny when you put someone on the spot. Mr. Miracle.
Ooh, that's a good one. Let's check that out.
The Enfield Gang Massacre.
You know what's funny is all these years ago when I met you, that was one of the first comics books you ever recommended to me. You should check it out. I want you to remember that on every single episode of By the Wayside, there is always an Omar Recommends, regardless of how ridiculous, how amazing, how heartfelt it is. Every single one of these Omar Recommends is brought to you by Omar Recommends. In all my years of doing By the Wayside as the host, producer, editor, no one once has asked me a Jordan recommends for a comic book. Hey, Omar.
What does Jordan recommend?
I recommend, what's that book you recommended the other day, yesterday?
Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees?
That's a good book. I recommend that. Let's check that out. Where can you catch me?
At By the Wayside Show on YouTube.
Where can you catch everyone else?
On the planet Earth, potentially around Newmarket area.
What's the thing you say at the end of every segment?
We'll catch you by the wayside.
I'm moving to a new shop. This is ridiculous. Stick around. We got lots more in this episode. And that was an episode of By the Wayside. You might be wondering what I'm doing all the way back here at the bar. Well, I was just checking out some of the amazing comics by Wayside Creative, which is a publishing imprint that focuses on cinematic storytelling from people like you. What a fun little way to end the episode. It's all about creativity here on By the Wayside. I'm your host, Jordan Middlebrook. Let's do it this way. Here's all the social media handles if you're interested in following along with all the really fun things that happen here on the show, not just on the internet, but on Rogers TV, because we're also on television. And if you wanted to be a guest, or if you're interested in being a sponsor, I'm still looking for the shirts. Reach out. It'll be lots of fun. Or just if you just want to have a friendly conversation and ask, hey, Jordan, why does your hair look so good on every episode? I'll tell you my secret. I want to thank my guests. Of course, Tina. I want to thank Omar. I want to thank every single one of you that is watching. And if you get the opportunity, let's go back to the social medias again. If you get the opportunity to head to the website, to the YouTube channel, I would absolutely love it if you went to those, liked, subscribed, shared, commented. Let's get those numbers up, baby. What am I, a carnival barker? Get those numbers up. Step right up here to the social medias for By the Wayside. Get those numbers up. I don't work good on improv. I really don't work good on improv. Thanks again for popping in. I, of course, will catch you by the wayside. I'm going to go double check those comic books again. Have a good day, everybody.